And we take Pro Night. Our athletes, our fighters take Pro Night. It's a great nighttime supplement to help recovery. Protein, great, and it's only 2 grams of carbohydrate per serving. So very low, doesn't gain the fighter's weight.
Yeah.
And what did you think about that with Bob?
Oh, you know, I spoke to my dad about it today, and because my dad grew up in his working years, either competing against Bob Arum or working with Bob Arum, and he's always told me, when you shake his hand, make sure you count your fingers after. That's the first thing he told me. And the second thing he told me was, he said some quotes the other week, and he's saying he needs to learn from his dad. His dad was a great promoter. He says the reason he's saying that is because I never invaded his space. I was never a threat to him. So what I am is a big threat to Bob, but I have so much respect for him as a promoter, and as a man at 87 years old, I find it hard to fire back at him too much.
Will you be doing this when you're 87?
No, I won't.
You will.
If I'm alive at 87,
you're still breathing, you'll still be doing
I'll be
it.
amazed. Like Bob, being around Bob the other day at the press conference, I learned a lot, you know, and I've been in the American market for 6 months, and he's been in the American market for, I don't know, 40 years. Yeah, so he's probably right. I probably do know dick about boxing and promoting in America compared to him. But you can't just come here in 6 months and expect to know the world. I mean, if you want to get ultra critical of Bob, I think his shows lately have been absolutely dreadful. Now, when was the last major fight card that Top Rank put on? I'm talking about major fight card.
Either Crawford and
It's not a major. No, I'm talking about, yeah, but Crawford Horn's not. I'm talking about a mega fight. It's been a long time. I mean, last week they put on a Bulgarian against a Romanian on ESPN. It was the lowest rating audience since ESPN's return to boxing, right? So when you talk about ESPN and what it does, and Lomachenko, he's Picasso, they haven't sold a ticket at Staples Center. No one's talking about the fight. So these are the things that I should be saying back to him, but I don't want to start. Like, I genuinely have a lot of respect for Bob Arum. I'm actually quite honoured that he's even talking about me as much as he is. The one thing I have to correct him on is he talks about Tyson Fury. Joshua's got to leave Hearn, leave the zone. Joshua's not with the zone. He has a fight-by-fight deal, and I believe his future will be with the zone. But at the moment, we're being very careful to make sure that those career-defining fights are available to Joshua without network obstruction. And I will make sure that is the case. And that's the same can't be said about Tyson Fury. I actually think Bob's under a lot of pressure from ESPN and also the UFC, because the UFC are driving all the numbers on ESPN Plus, not Bob Arum. And actually he's under pressure because he doesn't have any big fights for Tyson Fury. So the one thing he said that just stuck with me a little bit was Joshua's with the zone. No. Fight by fight, I believe Joshua will be long term with the zone, but I won't let it obstruct the big fights.
So does that mean, and I hate, you know, this is a little over my head business, but does that mean if there's more money in the pot for everybody on a Showtime pay-per-view, on a Fox pay-per-view?
Quite possibly.
Does that mean Joshua could...
Show me the money, man. Show me the money.
Quite possibly. Our priority...
Does that mean Joshua Wilder could happen on Showtime?
Could do. Our priority is to make that fight. Again, we can make that fight on Showtime, Top Rank, ESPN, The Zone. Our priority is to make that fight on The Zone. Joshua is with The Zone. But I go back to what I said. The ultimate focus for Anthony Joshua is to box Deontay Wilder. And if someone comes up with a load of money, guaranteed money, for it to be on Showtime, so be it. I just believe that the people that are going to come up with the most money for that fight are The Zone. But if I'm wrong, and if there's another opportunity, certainly we'll look at that as well.
Ultimately, would you be maybe also okay with it going to Showtime or Fox because you feel your guy would win and he'd bring the belts back to
you? Look, it doesn't. The difference between this side of the camp and maybe the other side of the camp is I don't make the decisions. I don't even influence the decisions. If you want my advice, you can have it. Anthony Joshua will make the decisions. He wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Even if, as people wanted to spin, Hearn doesn't want to fight Hearn, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't talk Joshua into doing something. I don't convince him to do something that he shouldn't. That's for other people to do in other teams. But he wants to fight Wilder. So again, like, he wants that fight after the Miller fight. That's the only fight that he wants. If he has to fight Usyk, so be it. But he wants the Wilder fight next, not 2020, 2019.
Eddie, and just to piggyback off what he said, you mentioned that at the end of the day you feel that the zone is the one that's going to bring the most money to the table, but Bob mentioned something about obviously the zone not having any kind of pay-per-view platform, but can you...
But they don't need a pay-per-view platform because they're paying the money. Pay-per-view is one of those things where it's very easy for me to say to a fighter, this fight's going to do 1 million buys, it's going to do 2 million buys, and then it goes out and it does 500,000 buys. The zone are guaranteeing the pay-per-view revenue. It's a whole different model. So what they're doing in the Jacobs Canelo fight is guaranteeing an amount of buys that is probably not achievable. So for the fighter, it's amazing.
For that fight in particular,
yeah, but for all fights. So it's amazing for a fighter to not have to worry about the pay-per-view buys and sit there and sweat on your check. Do you know what I mean? In an untested market. The UK is very different. I can tell you probably to 5% or 10% what Joshua is going to do for every single fight. In the US, where is the proven models to say that Joshua Wilder does, I don't know, 1.5 million buys? No, but you know, I think it could do 1 million plus that fight. Could. Would I bet on it? No way. I want the guaranteed money for 1 million plus buys. That's what I want.
So for example, Crawford versus Khan's going to be a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If that were on the zone, do you feel that the money would be better for individuals partaking in that fight?
Yeah, but the key to the DAZN model is paying the rights fee that generally the public would be paying for you. So with no pay-per-view, on a normal pay-per-view night, the public are paying the purses of the fighters. Right? Now, DAZN saying to the public, you don't have to, we're going to cover that. Right? So Khan Crawford is a big loss leader in my opinion for Top Rank because, I don't know, what does it do buys? 150, 200? Yeah, something like that. But I know what both guys are getting. That's horrific. You know, the financial makeup of this fight is all wrong. So it's not ideal for anyone, but you can't, I've seen the same thing in the UK. For people like Showtime, Top Rank a little bit, you can't give the money that DAZN can give, so you have to go pay-per-view. That's why fights like Spencer Garcia, although it did okay on the pay-per-view, yeah, but really that should be a Showtime or a Fox fight, but they can't afford the rights fees now, so they have to go pay-per-view. I don't blame them. I don't have a problem with the pay-per-view model. What I have a problem with is the price point. Right? In the UK, we're $25 a pay-per-view. Over here, you're $80, $90, sometimes $100 for the mega ones. Yeah, but for the mega ones, you know.
Yeah, true.
So that's a lot of money. And I just feel that now you've gone from a stage where you had Wilder Fury in December, you had Pacquiao Broner in January, you had Spence against Garcia in March. Now you've got Crawford against Khan in April. I mean, it's like it's a pay-per-view every month. Yeah. So as a fight fan, you're being asked to pay $80 or whatever it is a month for one night. And when you talk about, like, Bob's so contradicting sometimes because he'll say ESPN's the platform and look at the exposure and this.
He says you don't have a megaphone.
No, but he's right. No, the benefit that Bob has is the platform of ESPN. Unquestionably, I'm not an idiot. But what is it doing to the fighters? Like, okay, great, Lomachenko's on ESPN. Is he a star? No, absolutely not.
We don't see him on the First Take program.
You don't see him on anything. You don't see anyone sitting down in a crowd at the gate. That's the ultimate solution and answer to a fighter's profiles. Bums on seats. It's a very straightforward method. So it's all very well getting the profile and the exposure, but how do you monetize that? How do you turn fighters into superstars by getting that exposure? Terence Crawford. If Terence Crawford walked down here now, do you honestly, I mean, we're at a boxing media night, so obviously people are going to know who he is. Do you honestly think that there would be people down that street going, wow, Terence Crawford, wow, follow him around? No. Even the same with Deontay Wilder. I mean, Deontay's getting there. But like, Terence Crawford is pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. He's brilliant. I think he's great. He should be, like I've always said about Wilder, Wilder should walk down any major city street and get mobbed by people. He is a great fighter, exciting fighter. He's an athlete. He's a good talker. He's American. He's the world heavyweight champion. This is a problem with boxing in this country. But it's not boxing's fault. It's just you've got so many sports that are taking priority over boxing. So, like, sad as it is, if we were in England now, and I walk down the street, I would get mobbed by people. When's Wilder fighting? When's Fury doing this? What? Because boxing is right up there as probably the #2 sport in the UK. Everyone's talking about it. So it's not really the fighter's fault, and although there is bad promotion, it's not always the promoter's fault. It's just the general position of boxing.
Did you find? I mean, obviously, you would have rather Deontay take the 3-fight deal and we get Joshua Wilder, but did you find it kind of ballsy that he's gambling on himself and thinking I could get more money?
I don't think it was his decision. Like, it was his decision, but I don't think it was a decision that he made off his own back. You know, I think he was advised to take that decision. And listen, if he's getting the same money, I mean, one thing that he's definitely sure is this fight is twice the size it was a year ago, right? And it may be twice the size in another year than it is now.
So it'd be smart to hold on if that's the case.
If everybody kept winning. Because he should have lost, by the way, in his last fight. So that would have changed everything. All of a sudden that fight would have been dead. If those scorecards were how those scorecards should have been, that fight was dead, right? We've still got a chance. Don't blow the chance. Let's not be greedy. We're lucky to even still have it. So let's make it happen and take the chance now.
Daddy, and now put in the show here at the Forum, Los Angeles. It's a hotbed for boxing.
Yeah.
So you're starting to get a grip on things, on how things work in America.
Slowly, just starting to understand what the customer wants. That's the key to running a successful promotional business. It's just your fans, you know, not you, but these people are fans. So what do you want? What do you like? What makes you turn up? You know, and what I'm trying to do is deliver value. That's the first thing that you should always try and deliver. On April 26, I think we have probably one of the cards of the year in terms of value. And as long as you do that, the people that turn up, I hope we have 7,000 in there. Should be a good crowd. Every one of those people.
You have 7,000?
No, I believe that's what we'll have. About 4,500 at the moment. Yeah, but it's more than Lomachenko. You know, no, but seriously, like that's so. When I don't know dick about boxing, I've got a show doing better than the superstar, pound for pound star just down the road. But I know that everybody in that arena will leave and go, great night, I got value for money. And Philadelphia, our Philadelphia show was probably the first show that I did where I was really happy with the entire card, top to bottom. And I know what are we having there that night? 5,000. Every one of those people will come next time. So next time, and they'll tell their friends. So it might be 7,000. Next time it might be 9,000. It's the only way to do it because. But what I'm learning is, again, what works in Kansas don't work in LA. And what works in LA doesn't work in Turning Stone. You know? That's the key. But what works in London works in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just me turning up and having a nice bit of food with you great people. It's about understanding how can we drive attendance and excitement for April 26th? And that's what we're still learning and finding out and making sure we have the right team around us. But it all starts with the product. And the product is the fight, it's the cards, it's the show, it's the production, it's the in-event experience, it's the build-up, it's the hype. But ultimately, it is how good is the event. When I leave the arena, did I enjoy it? And that is the ultimate test to say, wow, that was a great night, I'm coming next time.
You think the demographics of it has a lot to do with it?
Yeah, I think what you see in the UK is you see a night out for these people, right? So people are dressing up, we've got more women coming than ever, there's music, people are dancing, people are getting drunk, it's a young, vibrant crowd. Over here I see more hot dog, big Coke, you know, can of like 3 litre, almost like I'm at a cinema. So I'm going to get comfy right now, I'm going to enjoy the show, but I'm going to have a bit of food. And I don't want that. I want you to be dressed up as much as you can. I want you to come and have a little bit of a dance. I want you to have a drink, have a great time, relax and enjoy the sports. But it's a little bit, sometimes I find American sports a little bit manufactured. You know, when I was in Philly and I went to the Sixers game, it's almost like, it's like an orchestra like the in-event guys, all right, ready, okay, are you ready? Make some noise. Oh yeah, you know, it's not like nothing's flowing. Like in England, it's just we're going crazy. We're dancing around, we're having a drink, rah, 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 rah. And some sports in America, you definitely do have that, but it's got to be the key word. And I know it's cringy to say it, but it's got to be sexy. A UFC is sexy, right? When you go to a UFC show over here, you see all the things that I just described about our UK shows. People are dressed up, it's a younger, more vibrant crowd. People are having a drink, people are charged, they're excited. And that's what we need to do for boxing. It shouldn't be difficult, because boxing is a great sport. But I just feel like at the moment it's too, you know, it's not cool enough to go to the boxing.
I don't know, our attention spans are a little short out here.
You think?
You know? 36-minute fight, I don't know if they could follow.
Yeah.
The soccer fans of the UK, they're just as passionate and wild as the boxing fans.
Yeah,
You know,
they are.
compared to over here.
But that's what the key word there: passion. Right. And one thing about the Mexican fans, I mean, when I did Rios against Soso in Tijuana, amazing. Like, the atmosphere was amazing. The show started at 3:30. You know, everyone was there at 3:30. They were just like charged. It was. I could feel it in the arena. You know.
They were thanking you and taking pictures.
Yeah, I know.
Taking the photo.
Yeah. But that's like, you don't understand as a promoter. That's like, that feels amazing. But so you know, there's passion with the Hispanic fight fans. But it's like, when you talk about what works in certain areas, people say, oh well, Hispanic fight fans, they come out in LA. They don't just come out in, like, it's not, you don't just put a Hispanic fighter on the card and like the whole Hispanic community just turn up. You know what I mean? So it's like Danny Roman. You know, Danny Roman is in a unification fight. The whole Hispanic community should really come out for Danny Roman. Not enough people know who he is. He's a great fighter, exciting fighter. He's got a chance to unify the division, you know? But it's about spreading the word, and it's that passion. Like with Crolla, you'll see tomorrow night, Crolla will bring, I don't know, 300 or 400 fans. They will be like, it's like, they're like, come on, Crolla, come on. They're flown from Manchester. It's a 12-hour flight, right? How many people, when Crawford fights in Khan next week, how many people are travelling from Omaha to New York?
A good amount.
Yeah, but probably same kind of number, 300 or 400. I mean, that's a lot of people, by the way. But generally, how many people follow fighters? Where is the same? And Crawford's actually a bad example, because Crawford's one of the few that does have that passion from his own, and that probably comes from being from a smaller place.
No professional.
Where wow, we've got Terence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? In LA, you've got everything, haven't you? So
many fighters.
but you need that passion. That's how you get the atmosphere when you're cheering for your own. And I think that's what might be missing from American sport. I mean, even every fighter should be fighting in their hometown. That's why we took Tevin Farmer, who is not the biggest name in American boxing, to Philly. And they came out for him, and they supported him, and we had a good atmosphere. That's why I want to take Demetrius Andrade to Providence. Yeah? They should be proud of him. They should have the passion for him. And hopefully that will come across on the TV show.
Any quick question? Bringing Joshua to the US,
Yeah.
how did that go about? Walk us through it. Did Joshua approach you guys and said, I want to fight in New York?
No, not at all.
Or is that the decision you made for him?
We didn't
What was
think,
his
we
reaction?
knew it would come, but we thought it would come later. Obviously, with the zone's influx into the market, with the money in America going through the roof, all of a sudden that changed the game as well. But we tried to make the Wilder fight, then we looked at the Dillian White fight. We couldn't make those two fights, and then it was like, well, maybe it's time. We looked at Jarrell Big Baby Miller, huge personality, undefeated, well ranked, good fighter. And I was like, I think now's the time. You know, the zone obviously put a lot of money up. Madison Square Gardens made a major play for him to come, and it just all worked out, you know. And I think now, now we're 7 weeks away. I'm starting to think this is a genius move, because you wait till fight week, this is going to be absolutely electric. The place is going to be full up. You're going to have 12, 13,000 British in there. The atmosphere is going to be incredible, and if he does the job that I think he'll do, the week after, Joshua will be in a completely different place that he is now in the US market, you know, and I think that's important because he is a star in Britain and he's filling 80,000, 90,000 arenas, but there is another world out there. You know, I get all the Deontay Wilder sort of fanboy media guys going to me, Wilder's bigger than Joshua in America. He is. He is the American world heavyweight champion, so he should be. But there's a whole other world out there, globally. But Britain and America are the two key markets, and I just think that you guys are going to go nuts for Joshua, and the people are going to go nuts for Joshua. And I'm so pleased that this time he's got the bit between his teeth where he wants to destroy Jarrell Miller. Like the last 4 or 5 fights, Klitschko, Parker unification, Takam, Povetkin, it's all been very friendly, respect. Like he wants to destroy Big Baby Miller. It's very personal. And I've not seen him train like this for a while. He's got to just control his emotions. You don't want to be sloppy and make mistakes, but we're going to see the old school spite in Anthony Joshua in this fight. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I do. There's a lot of challenging things in this fight, not just Big Baby, but new venue, new commission, new time zones, new changing rooms. Like everything's different. It's very exciting.
And Eddie, I just wanted to ask, because you've done some business with both guys. Do you, just stepping outside of matchroom for a minute, do you think Bob and Al Heyman will ultimately come to the table and make Crawford sense?
No. I mean, I see. The one thing I say about Bob is, like I said, I believe that you could. I could abuse Bob, like verbally, for an hour to his face, and that night he would still call me to do a deal for a fight. Whereas I think that doesn't apply to everybody. But I think the relationship between us and Bob, although the main problem he has is that I outmanoeuvred him and out-hustled him with the Anthony Crolla situation. He's not very happy about that. But the main thing is the relationship between Heyman and Arum, in my opinion, is non-existent. And it's potentially unfixable. But the relationship between us and Arum, we'll talk, we'll go for dinner, no problem.
So do you think when Bob's telling us, I want to make the Crawford, I'm sure he does, but do you think when he knows there's no way?
He says that more to put pressure on the other side, and he knows, really, he ain't going to.
From the outside looking in, can you put your finger on exactly maybe one thing that's made that relationship like that?
Court cases, I don't know, all kinds of internal things that we might not even know about.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, well, you know, many different things, but he doesn't speak particularly well of it.
And lastly, Eddie, you know, is it how good is it? Seems like you're just as confident as ever, but has anything at all, the roadblocks that have come up since you started the zone, guys trying to block you out, do everything, has that dismayed you at all, or are you just as confident?
No, I expected it. I'm actually quite flattered by it. The one thing that I didn't expect is people to step up financially like they have, particularly ESPN. You know, because the money that the zone pumped in and started spending is completely crazy, and I didn't expect ESPN to lose their head and be as aggressive as they had, and now Heyman having to step up and match it. So that's been challenging but fun and amazing for the fighters. What a time to be a fighter. Unbelievable. So, you know, with me, you're always going to see a lot of bluster, but I'm not deluded. You know, when I come into the American market, I'm going to be doing all these things, but we're 6 months in, so time will tell.
Do you feel you'll lure the great American young fighter,
Yes,
Devin Haney?
Devin Haney.
Do you feel you'll lure him to the zone?
Yeah, we're talking. I'm sure he's talking to everybody. I mean, you know, there's a fighter that if we were to sign him, could be an interesting dynamic. It's a bit like dominoes, this game, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of fighters right now who are thinking about making a move to Matchroom and DAZN, but they almost want someone to do it first, you know. And when that happens, I believe you're going to see many follow.
Is he that premium building block though that you can?
Not there yet.
Right.
Has all the potential, so we can still get the credit. You know, but he has the personality, he has the ability. You know, he's a real star.
Thanks so much.
All right, cheers.